Okay, I'm back, and today I'm in Chattanooga to review the 16-35 f4 Lumix Pro Series S lens. This lens was loaned to me by Hassan. He has sent me a couple lenses now, and so far all these Sigma and Lumix lenses he's loaned me have been stellar performers. I'm going to be reviewing it on my Leica SL2. And I'm also testing something else today. The Leica purists in the world are gonna have a conniption. I hope they don't pass out and hurt themselves, because I'm gonna be testing an aftermarket battery that I have found on Amazon that fits my SL2. I bought a pair of these for, I think, $150 for two of them. That still sounds steep, and it is, but it's significantly cheaper than the official Leica batteries. I'm going to be using these today as well to see how they hold up, you know, if I get the same kind of service life out of them as I do the official Leicas, or if it's less or more. They feel about the same in every capacity, except honestly the construction seems to be a little nicer. They're not quite as flimsy. The plastic on the shell of the Leica batteries is a little softer. These are a little more rigid, so I'm curious to see how it holds up. But I've got a pair of these today I'm going to be carrying around with me. I'm going to be using them. And we're going to mount this guy up, walk around Chattanooga, and take some photos with it and see what we come away with. Now, unfortunately, I normally document down here. I don't think I brought a 50 either. I photographed this Embassy Suites they're putting up with a 50mm from the second tree back on this intersection. I have a location I choose every single time. This being 16-35, I don't get quite the focal length, but at 47 megapixels, I might get lucky, and if I set it to 35, be able to crop it down to kind of fit the same aspect ratio, because I wanted to grab that photo today while I was here. So let's get this guy on the camera, and let's go take some pictures with it and see what it looks like. I cleaned the sensor on the camera before I came to Chattanooga. It should be good to go. I'm not going to bother attempting to clean it further. Okay, that's the top of the lens. Well, I thought it was. I figured the Lumix logo would be the top, but it's not. There we go. Now, let's put away the lens caps and put all of them in the truck. Okay, that's what it looks like mounted. This is a nice lens. It has a zoom ring, of course, and then this is your focus, and it's clutched, so I can hit the end and it keeps spinning, so it's a clutched focus ring. And it doesn't have a switch to switch between auto and manual focus, so this is just override mechanically. He has a lens filter on it. Let's see, what kind of filter is he running? He has a K&F Concepts Nano K Series UV filter. It has a 70, is that 71? No, my eyes are so bad now. It's 77mm filter thread. So he is running a filter. I'm not going to remove it because he's got it on there to protect his lens, so I'm just going to leave it be. All right, I think all that looks good to go. Let's juice up the camera. Let's see what it thinks about it. Okay, I found a memory card. Do I have one in it? Yes, it has memory cards. Okay. I don't remember how to focus. Oh, it is focused, okay. Oh, I'm in manual. No, focus ain't working. Because it's in manual focus, you goofball. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. Figured it out. This ring pushes and pulls. When you pull it back, it exposes the hyperfocal distance scale. Actually, it's not a hyperfocal distance scale at all. It just shows the distance that you're focused at. But when you want it to be in autofocus mode, you push this ring forward, hides that scale, and it puts the camera in autofocus. Now it'll autofocus like I want it to. Yes, and it worked. Man, it's fast. Okay, I think I'm probably gonna like this. Let's go for a walk. Okay, something I noticed right away is that I am not used to shooting this wide. 16mm is wide, like really wide. The difference is in this photo you can see like so much more of what's in the sides of the frame than I'm used to capturing. I'm normally just used to getting barely the aquarium at the end of the street down the middle of Broad and getting the building in the 50mm frame. And in the 16 mil, look how much wider that is from the same exact point of view. It's insane how much wider this is. 35, I think I can crop it down to what I normally capture. I can actually get the image out of the center of it that I'm used to getting, so I can continue with the same perspective on that little project I've been running there. They're getting close. Well, actually they're not really. There's a lot left to do, but they're setting windows finally. But yeah, here's the building, and it's probably blown out because of the fact that I have exposure compensation dialed into the camera to allow for the brightness in the corners and things. Makes it come out a little better in shade. But anyway, let's I'm gonna try to get on top of a parking deck somewhere and get a photo of a vista or something to see if that'll be more of what this lens was kind of good for, or to kind of share its capabilities. Let's do that. All right, I'm in a basement garage. Chestnut's right there out of frame, but I came down here looking for evidence of the underground Chattanooga. Here's a picture window. Now, entirely plausible that this was like a freight yard, and maybe that was to let light into the building before they added this decking area up here. I believe this was added later, and this was just a big like shipping receiving ramp, and they backed the trucks down because there's big roll-up doors. There was one there and they made it a regular entry door, and then they've got a walk-in door there, and there's a big roll-up door here. So I'm assuming at one point that's all this was, and maybe that was just to let light into the lower level. So this doesn't really give me much definitive proof, but it's a spot I have never explored. It's really interesting down here. Well, for what it is, there ain't much going on, but yeah. All right, I'm gonna check the garage next door, which they just recently painted. So I'm curious to see what the front Market Street side wall of it looks like, because it exposes to the street level, but it's in the basement. Well, there ain't nothing in here that I can find anywhere that points definitively to that. They've got a stonework wall over here, but it looks like it was done later construction, because it looks like there used to be a Market Street exit right over there. There's part of what looks like a ramp over there, but they seem to have moved it to the Chestnut side and rearranged the whole process. So I don't see anything. All right, heading on down the street. So far, I have to teach myself to use a zoom lens. I'm not used to having a zoom anymore. I've shot with prime so long that I forget that I can change the focal length. And I tend to end up just shooting and moving around with my feet to compose the shot instead of just adjusting the zoom ring. So yeah, I figured it out when I was doing these photos here, and I was at like some kind of oddball, like 22mm or something, I don't know. And then I was like, hey, I can adjust the focal length. Let me see if I can get it past the chain link so you can see. Or if I go above it, there we go. All right, this is pretty compelling evidence. What you have here is you have a door in the wall, and this is in a basement wall. As you can see, the grade's filled in and there's a parking lot above it. So at some point this went outside, and the space between this wall and the next building was either another building and that was the door out, or this was a building and the door went in. You can see this is an old brick wall, and they've done some repair work or reinforcement work to it with cement here recently. They poured this concrete not long ago. Yeah, it's pretty recent, because I think I have some photos from a couple of weeks ago, and that wasn't there. It was just the bricks. But you can see this was a door and they've blocked it up and sealed it off. Okay, a couple things to note about the lens. The build quality is phenomenal. The thing feels very, very good. The dampening on the control rings is basically perfect. It has no focus drift. Of course, it shouldn't. It's what essentially is a new lens. It takes incredibly sharp and crisp photos. I am blown away when I'm looking at them, and I zoom way in with the camera's EVF. It looks wonderful. These images are incredible. The sharpness is all off the chart. As for me, it's difficult for me to maneuver with a wide angle lens like this in the city to get a useful photo out of it. It's just hard to do. I'm used to using something longer, and because of that, I don't see the compositions in 16 or 24 or whatever millimeter. I see them in 50. So I'm usually way too far back. I have to move a lot closer. I'm gonna go up here to the City Thread Alley and see what I can come up with in there. There's a lot of people in Chattanooga today. All the street side parking's taken up for some reason. This isn't normal. All right, check it out. See the window arch bricks right here, right above grade. Yeah, you got another one that's right here, and this wall has been modded so many times. Like everything basically above this line in this area is a window that's been brick shut. But if you go up here, it's hard to see it, but there's an arch of bricks right here as well for the second floor window that used to exist in this area here. So you had a first floor down here and then a second floor up here. And this is a little tiny building. Let me back up and show you. Yeah, so there's the roof line right there. So, well, and then it steps up again back about 20 feet or so. If I get up, you can kind of see there's another roof line to this same building back there. Yeah, there you go. But these windows and doors and stuff have been changed so many times over the years that it's just ridiculous. And of course, this one still exists at the same plane as it did before. As you can see, they've blocked up a well around it where they can still access this door here. And at one point, this is a dock board. You can see it's painted over. It's an old oak board or something. And then you got this dock plane, and you can see where it used to be a dock door. You can see the new bricks right there. And then they got windows they've brick shut up there. This stuff's been changed 1,000 times back here. Then you got a new building here. But over here, you got something of basically the same thing. You got brick windowed archways. So yeah, this grade in this alley was raised probably 4 feet. They said it went all the way to Cherry Street. All right, some things I've noticed about this lens that I like really. Number one, they sacrificed 1 stop of aperture and 2 millimeters of focal length on the wide end. And by doing that, they made the lens a lot smaller, and you can put flat filters on it. The 14 to 24 Nikkor f2.8, it has a bulbous front. It's so bulbous that it comes with this special serial bowl lens cap to go on it. You can't put filters on it. You have to buy the special adapter that slips over it that allows you to install filters. I guess the extra stop of shutter speed is handy at times, maybe if you're doing weddings or something and you're in real bad light. But for the most part, for me, I'm gonna just lengthen the shutter speed and get my exposure back. I'm not gonna worry about the aperture. The focus speed is stunningly fast. It is so fast that it's instantaneous. I don't have a way to measure it to compare it to, like, say, a Leica lens. I don't have a Leica lens either. Leica makes a 16-35, but I don't have it. It's an L-mount lens as well. It does say certified by Leica on the bottom of it, so apparently Leica approves of the lens. Another thing is the batteries seem to be holding up well. I've been running one battery this whole time, and it's still like 3/4 charge. And normally I go through a battery about once an hour, maybe once every 2 hours. Well, we're getting back to the truck now, and I'll just be honest with you. I like this lens. For a landscape lens, this is a pretty sweet lens. Everything about this lens is super well made. I even like how they mimicked the Leica font for the millimeter reference numbers on the lens. It's really, really nice. It goes well with the SL2. I have no complaints about this lens whatsoever. Everything about it's sweet. Now, I haven't checked the price. It'll appear on the screen because I don't know right now, but I will by the time future Dave edits the video. But just to be honest with you, this is probably going to be a bargain at any point along the way. Like if you look at it compared to the Leica counterpart, it's going to be significantly cheaper. Just the way it is. That doesn't mean you got to give up image quality, because I have noticed that the image quality is phenomenal with this lens. Y'all seen the photos. I even tried to correct some of the distortion from shooting, you know, the lines running away and all that sort of stuff to see how that worked out. Future Dave will know whether that turned out or not. I don't know right yet because I haven't edited the files. We'll see. Can't say anything negative about it. It's a little heavy, but it's autofocus and auto aperture, so it's got to have electric motors and electronics to do that. It's the way, it's just part of the trade-off. Thank you, Hassan, for sending it to me and letting me mess with it, play with it a little while. And until next time, get your camera out and go take a picture with it, all right? I'll see you later. Bye-bye.